Hey, welcome everybody. This is John Paul Mendoza, Dr. Speech Selling. This is Raging Verbalist number 116, and this is take two. For those of you who didn't realize we had some technical difficulties, boo hiss. We had the internet crapping in and crapping out, and mostly, poo poo. That's all we can say about that. So, welcome to the show. And anyway, just so you know, if you don't know, this is, of course, where we go through and we talk about something that's very interesting, that's very topical. We had to get it done. I could have shoved it off. I could have said no if it was just like a standard blah topic, but today is too topical. If you want to go check us out, go to positiontowinbook.com, positiontowinbook.com. Go to Facebook for the Position to Win book group, Position to Win book group. All right. And with me, as always, is the lovely Sandra. She'll be stepping in and asking the tough questions and not so tough questions as we work our way through today's topic. Sandra, welcome. In spite of our internet glitches, we are on and we are live and going.
That's right. That's right. We are finally. It is happening. We couldn't not do it.
Could not do it. That's the kind of can-do spirit we've got. You know, are you a can or a can't? That's the I had a sales manager used to say that, and he was pretty excited until they fired him for, he had a little tootski problem, but that's a different issue. We don't have to get into that now. So, all right. So what are we covering today, Sandra? Put it on the table. Lay it out there.
All right. So it's Super Bowl, Valentine's Day combo. So what geniuses are putting the Super Bowl right before Valentine's Day? Who did that?
So I would say it's probably the NFL, because they kept saying, okay, we're going to extend the season. They had a lot of empty stands, so they're going to add another game. For those of you who don't know, there used to be, fewer games, but there were like more preseason games, and, that was to evaluate talent. So they cut a preseason game and they added another one of these games. So then they stuck it on there. Used to be at one point in time that just the beginning of January, you were done with football until the fall. But, they said, hey, there's too many, revenue dollars that we could go pick up. So what they did was they said, let's keep pushing it out. And now we're out to, February 13th, which is butts up right, cheek to cheek, right up against Valentine's Day. So we got like the two holidays where people are betting to see if they're going to get lucky. That's the way I like to think of it.
There you go. All right. So speaking of that, how many special proposition bets are there?
Well, and for those of you who are regular viewers or who know me, I spent some serious time in Vegas, and I always love the proposition bets. Now, there are the standard ones, what's going to be the length of the national anthem, which, by the way, is 95.5 seconds. That's the line this time. So if you're going to be betting it, you have to think, how long does it take? Hum it in your head right now, and you might figure that out. Also, will the coin toss be, heads or tails? Those are the standard ones, but I like some of the other weirder ones that we've got this year, which is, how about this one? Since Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth are doing they're the announcing team, is who will say the spread, who will talk about the betting line? Because, by the way, at one point in time, the NFL said, wait, there are no, and by the way, if you haven't noticed, I'm wearing my prognosticator glasses. I can see into the future, but they used to say there's no betting going on here. Really, it's one of like the biggest reasons why people watch the game is to bet on the thing. So, who will say, the line? Now, it's not that they can say something close to it, but they have to say a very specific phrase. And if they do, you win. And if you don't, you don't. Also, Roger Goodell, who is the poobah of the NFL, how many times will they show him in the stands? And there's a line on that. Also, Joe Burrow of Cincinnati Bengals. Here's one that's pretty interesting: is will he be compared to Macaulay Culkin? And the line that I was reading is that they made it very clear, if you bet on this, and I know this is going to be tough for some of you to understand, If they say it in the pregame show 100 times, 1,000 times, 100,000 times, it doesn't matter. They have to say it during the show. They have to say it during the big broadcast. Even in the halftime break, they can say it and it doesn't count. And then here's another one is will Joe Burrow, who is notorious now, of course, because we're in a notorious time, being driven by Puritans. Will he have a cigar? Will he destroy the morals of a future generation as he did when he won in LSU or when he won the AFC championship? Well, we'll find out, won't we? And of course, there's a line on that one. And I'm going to say he's probably not going to do that because, the optics look bad. Of course, we'll see who's going to win. A couple others, and this one, of course, Sandra, you understand this because, of course, you lived in LA for a period of time. So which one do you think is going to be said first? Which landmark will they show first, the Hollywood sign or the Hollywood Walk of Fame? So tell me, when you were there, tell us the truth. This might be some really insightful stuff. Did you ever go see the Hollywood sign? And did you ever do on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? Did you? I mean, inquiring minds want to know.
I never saw the sign, but I saw like the Walk of Fame and all of that down there. Went with my uncle who also lived in Southern California and kind of gave me the tour.
So the interesting about the Hollywood sign is that from parts of LA, you can see the sign really clearly, and other parts you can't. And I've had people who have said they've never seen the sign, even if they've lived here for a period of time. So it's kind of weird. Now, for those of you who don't know, a little bit of trivia is that it really at one time said Hollywood Land, because they had LAND, because of course they were selling and pitching real estate. Shock, surprise, pitching real estate in California. Didn't even know they were going to do that. But of course, so which one will be seen first? And then which road, city, or zip code? This is a three-way deal. Will they say Rodeo Drive? Will they say Beverly Hills? Or will they say 90210? Which one do you think? Come on, Sandra. Give our betters. What would you say? Now, when you were there, did you go to Rodeo Drive? Did you do that?
And when I lived on the East Coast, I didn't do sightseeing out there either.
Boy, I'll tell you, we may be digging dirt, but it isn't exciting stuff.
Too busy working. Come on, I don't have time for
that. Oh, she was in so much demand. I'm ready for my close-up. I'm ready. Okay. So by the way, 90210 is the zip code for Beverly Hills, for those of you who don't know it, which is why they put it into the TV show. And it was funny because I was doing a seminar and this woman lived in Beverly Hills, and she told me where she lived. And there's the group of apartment buildings. And on one side of the street was Beverly Hills, 90210. On the other side of the street was Los Angeles and a different zip code. She paid, and now this is 90, and she was paying $250 a month more for her apartment so she could have the Beverly Hills zip code. By the way, whenever somebody does that and you're teaching seminars and stuff, the first thing I think about is what crazy aesthetic thing can I sell them? Here's the Shroud of Turin, or here's the, you got to come up with something crazy. All right, well, let's just go through just a couple more of these before we march on, because some of these are really interesting. So, yeah, that's not interesting. Okay, so this one's good. Which quarterback's name will be said first during the game? Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers? And the betting is Tom Brady. Now, I think Tom Brady's name is going to come up like boop. I mean, it's just going to be boop. It's going to come up. So, and there you go. I mean, now Aaron, his guy is still in the league, but Tom, well, he's Tom. So which one would you pick? Come on, Sandra, flip a coin. Do that.
I think Tom Brady. Plus, didn't he come out with the little statement like, I want to play for one more team or something like that? So it's going to be him for sure. It's got to be.
Yeah, he said, never say never again. And then for all of you out there who are wondering if we're going to work in the pandemic, what will be said first during the game? COVID or Omicron? Well, I would never bet on that. And I think the most important thing, of course, is, how many songs will be played during halftime. And this is crazy because they have 9.5. Now, they don't have enough time to do 9.5. So there you go. There's some important prop bets. Some of them are, and they're more than that. There's hundreds of them. And because you said, how many are there? I would say an infinite variety, because people are coming up with more of them now, and what that's going to be and how that's going to work out. So, all right.
So
got that behind us.
Yeah,
Push us on. Push us on.
You won't even give me your top 3 prop bets? Top 3. Come on, top 3.
Well, see, the stuff that I would always bet, and if you have a favorite team, bet the money line. And right now, there's been so much money bet on the Bengals. I'm not giving you gambling advice, but I'm telling you, so much money has been bet on the Bengals as the Cinderella that the line has actually gotten better for the Rams. So in my mind, I would bet on the Rams. I would bet that that in fact that they're going to sack Joe Burrow like a pinata, or they're going to whack him around, because they that's been a big deal. And then for the silliness, I would say you got to bet Macaulay Culkin. I mean, shit, yeah. I mean, even Macaulay Culkin's wondering if he can get on the action. So
there you go. So besides prop bets, who are you rooting for?
Well, since I moved to Southern California years ago, and I was an LA Rams season ticket holder until they abandoned us and moved to St. Louis, and then they came back. But that's always been my NFC team, so I'm rooting for the Rams. Go Rams! And we'll see if they can, pull it off. A few years ago, we had high hopes, and Tom Brady kind of dashed those hopes. Very low scoring game, but Tom pulled it out. Pain in the neck guy. So how about yourself? Who are you rooting for?
I'm really, well, they're not like my main team, but I don't have a main like NFL team. So I'm happy if either wins, but it'd be nice to see Matthew Stafford get it, just because he needs a win. Come on. Joe Burrow's got plenty of time. The Rams, I mean, it's a good story. They were able to recruit and get some new people in there. So let's see if they can get it done.
Well, and they really kind of ripped at the heartstrings of lifetime Denver Bronco fans by coercing Von Miller to come. So hopefully Von can repeat his performance when he, took care of business against Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. Let's have one of those games, Von, and we'll all be happy Rams fans. Okay. All right.
All right. So what are some of the dumbest things that you've seen people do around Super Bowl Sunday?
Well, I've been to many Super Bowl parties over the years, and it helps being a sober guy, because when you're a sober guy, you can watch people do some silly things. And probably one of the things that has always amazed me is that I saw these guys throwing a football inside of a house and wiping out, I don't know how many layer bean dip, how much stuff went a flying, crash, bang, boom. Because they were, first off, they were well past their prime, even for football in the house. And so that was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. And then the other dumbest, I would say during my Vegas days, is watch people who would just keep betting, even though they were losing their shirt all the way during the game. And having been on a fan of some pretty lopsided victories, or losses, actually, not victories, I would say that's one of the dumbest things is people throwing good money after bad, and betting and betting and betting and betting. Now, you don't have to actually take a bet. In fact, you don't even have to take a gamble, because I've got something that's going to help you in your business, in your career, and what's going to happen. And I'm going to show it to you right now. And when you understand this, you're going to get the odds in your favor. You're going to, in fact, have some things come together for you in a very positive way. And that is because we're going to talk about why most businesses fail in the first 5 minutes. It just takes them 3 to 5 years to realize it, position to win. You can get a physical copy at Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Books A Million. You can also get the digital copy, Kindle, Apple Books, and Nook. Almost forgot the Nook. Also, you can go to positionwinbook.com. Tell me how you want to do it. If you want me to put down the score of the Super Bowl. Of course, it's always easier to pick them once they're done. Also, Remote Work for a Better World is available exclusively on the Kindle store, and you can check that out. And what I can tell you is that most people really suck at gambling. So what I always say to people is, unless you want to send me money, which I like, send me money, then the smartest thing you can do is watch and enjoy the game. But if you get crazy and start betting too much, well, what you'll do is you're taking a gamble that you shouldn't take. And in particular, in business, you shouldn't be taking stupid bets anyway. All right. So where do we go from here, Sandra?
All right. So maybe let's change gears, change it up a little bit, and talk about Valentine's Day coming up.
Well, if you've survived the Super Bowl and you haven't gotten like totally, wrecked, because by the way, there's been a push over the years that we need a holiday for the post Super Bowl hangover day. I don't know what they would call it, but now we have Valentine's Day. So one of the things that's kind of interesting about Valentine's Day is that Valentine's Day was kind of one of those really kind of sweet, romantic things. And now, of course, you may wake up in the morning and your house is trashed because you had a Super Bowl party. So what you have to think about is, what nice thing are you going to do for Valentine's Day? Have you already picked out a gift? And are you ready to have a nice Valentine's Day? I can tell you, having been to Super Bowls, I've been to three Super Bowls live in my life, watched my team lose twice and win once. Winning is a lot better. So when people say, oh, it's all about playing the game, no, winning is a lot better. So if you are getting there to Valentine's Day and you have lost a bunch of money, put it out of your mind. Just think about, how much the person that you are connected to, your significant other, whoever that might be, whatever, you want to name them or call them. This is a kind of a cool day, and make it a special one. So I would say that.
All right. So what is the best present you've ever purchased for your wife for Valentine's Day?
Well, I can tell you that the best present I ever purchased for her is that when we first met, and then we got, we lived together, and then we got married, is that we really had a very we didn't have a great ring situation. So when I was in Amsterdam, I went to the Diamond District and I bought her a very, very nice diamond ring, knew her finger size, do all that stuff, and brought it back, and she was ecstatic about that. So that was, I would say that was like my best present. So what was the best present you got for Valentine's Day?
Well, I mean, not much could top this. This is our bird Snickers, and it's a nice canvas, it's I mean, he's like almost 30 years old, this bird, so he's been around the block. Might as well do something nice with that.
So
oh, sorry.
So did you buy it so Snickers gets the thing, or
I took a picture of Snickers and sent it into this company, and then they have like hundreds of options to pick from, and then got it printed up as a canvas. And I mean, it's pretty great, right? It's a funny surprise.
What more could you say? And besides
Exactly.
which, and it looks like you put them in a little military outfit or something. Or
I think this one's called the Colonel.
There you go.
Like they have like Renaissance and royalty. Yeah. So that one is fun. But besides that, this year's gift is an autographed football. So we're Husker fans. And so it's Tom Osborne. It's a signed Tom Osborne Husker football in the little UV case, so that the light, when it comes through, won't like fade the signature or anything. So joking aside, that's the real gift this year. And so that's probably one of the better or best gifts, I think.
Well, that's a neat gift. I
Yeah.
like that. I like
It's
that.
a good
Yeah.
year to do it because it's the Super Bowl, football, Valentine's. So,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. I think
Yeah.
that's cool. Okay. And
Oh, I'm just like, what other gifts do you want to talk about? All right. So, what are some of the worst presents you can buy for Valentine's Day?
well, and I made this mistake once at Christmas, and I'm still paying for it many years later. And I'm just saying, yeah, if you're out there and you're thinking about buying some kind of appliance, and I'm talking about like, a vacuum, which is what I bought. I bought this really cool vacuum for Christmas once, and my wife did not take that well. So I learned my lesson. Things like, a spatula set, probably not a good idea. A blender. Hey, sweetheart, look, a quesadilla maker. Everybody needs one of those. Olay, I think those are some of the really bad ideas. Also, yeah, and I jokingly always say that if you're ever at a loss, you go buy a scratcher, a Slim Jim, and a pack of cigarettes because you cover all the bases, even if they've quit smoking. What the heck, emergency pack or something. But all kidding aside, there are probably more bad presents than good presents. And by the way, guys, all ages, guys come up with a lot of crazy ideas for presents that they think are going to be really cool, which are not. So you may want to have like somebody to help balance this out for you a little bit, so you don't buy some really weird something and then because you can always tell that really that nice person that you're connected with, and they go, oh, that's really nice. And if you can't figure out how to get that as a tell, then well, you got other problems. And maybe you're just a little too hungover from the game. So yes. So what are some of the bad ideas that you've seen out there? What are some of those?
Well, it's kind of hard because I'm the kind of person that does put spatulas and vacuums on my list.
Okay. We can tell she's a hopeless romantic. That's good. That's good. Yeah.
It's the practical stuff. Then what you need is taken care of. And that blender, you can make margaritas in a blender. It doesn't have to be just for something boring. So
Well,
come
there
on.
you go. There you go.
Quesadillas and the margaritas. There you go. You're set. See, it's a party. I guess. Well, depending on where it's for, like a gift card, like, hey, put maybe a little more thought into it, I'd say. I mean, money's nice, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, that could be
that's kind of
taken.
lame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're new to the relationship and, she's sitting there and you go, well, honey, I couldn't, we've had a pretty good run here lately. So I thought I would give you some cash.
Right.
Could be taken the wrong way. I don't know. But yeah. So, I think that clearly we could go down some pretty crazy things, and I'll tell you some gift cards. I don't think you really should, unless you really know the person, but probably a Home Depot one is probably not that cool, and of course, so for for your bigger Omaha brethren is, of course, buying C's candy would be a thing to do, right? Yeah. So
Of course.
oh yeah,
There you
yeah,
go.
yeah, because C's candy is like big news. And for those who don't know, Warren Buffett owns, or actually Berkshire Hathaway owns C's candy. So
That's right.
keeping the tradition alive, and waistlines expanding. So all right, well, hey, let's let's wrap this up. Where do we go from here? Let's wrap it up.
All right. So, what advice would you give somebody who's, really wrapped up in the game and how it might affect them?
Well, and for those of you who are going to be betting heavily during the game and doing all these things and having lots of anxiety, and I understand it. I mean, I get wrapped up in the game. I can tell you from having been on the other side of the bets that watching people melt down is usually not a pretty sight. So I'll give you kind of the gooey thing of saying, don't bet more than you can afford to lose, but there's a mental level on that one too. Uh, I try to always remember that I can't actually affect the game no matter how much I shout at the television or if I'm at the game. I mean, we want to believe we're going to have an effect. We want to be fans, but come on, get real, get serious. You're not. I hear that there's a certain amount of aggression and anger and all those things. It's a game and it's only money. And it's easy for me to say because it isn't my money and it isn't and isn't I'm not in your head. But I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of people who do a lot of stupid things about sporting events, and to the point of where you just go, "Wow, really?" So I guess my final advice is enjoy the game. I'm going to enjoy the game, and damn it, I want these Rams to win one. That would be great. But if they don't, you know what? The next day, the sun will come up. Valentine's Day will hit. I'm not going to even whisper what I'm going to get her for Valentine's Day because she might watch this and might find out. But I will tell you that we will have a nice Valentine's Day because you know what? The most important thing in life is those that you care about and love, and focus on that. And if you get too wrapped up in the game, you got to let it go. So I wish you great success and great luck in this thing. Understand that no matter how much you know, no matter how smart you think you are, there is never a way that you're always going to win and beat the game, which is why I always say I'd rather book the bets than make the bets because I'm on the better side of the odds. So with that, let's see if some of these prop bets come to fruition and what's going to happen. I think that it's kind of crazy that people are betting on everything right now because of all of the kind of opening this up. And all I can say is we'll probably see this kind of mass drain of money because in some ways people are betting stuff they shouldn't bet. Having said that, go and have a great time, have a great game. And with that, come back to the Raging Verbalist next week. And let's see, maybe we should have a line. Maybe we should put up a bet. What do you think, Sandra? We'll put up a bet about whether or not my damn internet will hold up. What do you think?
It will. Think positive.
See that's why we have her as part of the team. So with that, have a great one, everybody, and we'll see you next Raging Verbalist.